It's been 7 months since I held a live stream on a Tuesday night, and last year I held it a few hours earlier. I've returned to this time and day to offer an opportunity to answer questions, but also to explain what I'm all about to perhaps a new audience, which isn't normally available during my usual Saturday at noon Eastern live stream. So, first and foremost, start asking your questions now. And please begin your comment in the live chat with hashtag question so I can find it. Because on my Saturday live streams, it's such a massive community event with everyone chatting to everyone else and me that it gets a little tricky seeing questions. So use hashtag question as I so I can spot it. If you're new to my content, at this day and time, usually how these live streams work is I'll start off with a slots topic inspired by your emails, comments, or suggestions from past live streams. Then afterward I'll start answering your questions. And also thanks to my many moderators for helping out today. Hey Mary Ellen, good to see you. So, hi. I'm Dr. John Friedel, also known as Professor Slots, but please call me John, Professor, or PS. Why PS? I think it's because I always have one more thing to add. Get it? PS? Don't worry, you'll get used to my sense of humor. Oh, and I have two cats, a male gray named Emil Lenz and a female calico named Hedy Lamarr, both the names of scientists. The first invented the induced magnetic field, and the second invented Wi-Fi. She was also Walt Disney's inspiration for Snow White, the black and white movie star. But as one of my moderators, but those two cats, Hedy and Emil, as one of my moderators, rename them Saboteur number 1 and Saboteur number 2. I'm not exactly sure which one's which. These frames on my wall here, I'll show you a little clearer. Those frames on my wall, those hold my college degrees. Mostly in there's 8 of them, and they're mostly in physics, engineering, and mathematics. But don't get too excited. It's I have the student loans to go with them. Hey Steve, hey Frenzy. So I earned them by attending college for about 25 years. Once I got my doctorate in aerospace, I was working my way all the way through it, doing various things. But once I got my doctorate in aerospace engineering, that's that one here, up there, there it is. That this way. Yep. Think three-dimensionally, John. You can do it. And once I got that doctorate, I started my engineering career at the primary military jet engine manufacturer, Pratt and Whitney in Connecticut, where I designed jet engines. Well, a niche within a niche within the niche of jet engine design. I did that for 7 years while earning another graduate degree, my third graduate degree, that one right there. And a master's of science in engineering, a master of science in engineering management from the University of New Haven, who then asked me to teach industrial engineering graduate students system simulation and another graduate course, decision-making analysis. Anyway, I got recruited by the primary commercial jet engine manufacturer, General Electric Aviation, to help them design their new engines, again, within my niche of a niche of a niche. They named me innovator for my work. And because I like to teach, I became an adjunct professor at the University of Cincinnati, teaching a large lecture hall of undergraduate engineering students all about the mechanics of materials. The lab was fun. I mentioned this so you know I'm a serious person who does serious work, some of it with deadly serious consequences, and that I have both teaching and training experience, two different things, and years of it. About a decade ago, shortly after I arrived in Cincinnati, I returned to playing slots. I used my overtime pay to visit the newly opened Horseshoe Cincinnati, now a Hard Rock after having been a Jack. Every few months for 7 months, I'd bring $500 and spend half of it at slots before leaving. It was very relaxing during a stressful time for me. Then in the middle of November, wow, almost a decade ago, I won a hand pay of just under $4,000 on a $1 denomination machine. With it, I won back everything I'd spent for the year at slots, plus that much more, that much again. And you know what? It wasn't good enough. Several months of time spent and only a few $1,000s in profit. Yeah, I know, great. But what was I doing messing around? So I decided to take my bankroll and visit the high limit slots room. By the end of the night, I had 7 W2G hand pays. Okay, now we're talking. From the middle, hey, Doug. From the middle, good to see everybody here. Hi, Keith. From the middle of November to the end of the year, I won 52 W2G hand pay jackpots. In 9 months, 90 hand pays, and then a car, a Mercedes-Benz E250, but I took the $40,000 cash option. And being who I am, a week later, I went out and bought a Jeep Wrangler because I'm a Jeep Wrangler kind of guy, not a Mercedes-Benz guy. And yes, I made a 30% profit over my bankroll for both of those years. How did I manage to do that? Because around the end of December, a few weeks after I got those 7 hand pays, I had this bright idea to keep winning just as much, but maybe lose less often. Not to try to win more, I was winning enough, but to win just as much and plug the hole my wins were draining out of. And so I did. By the time I won the car, I thought about writing a book about how to win at slots. Then when I won the car, my first thought was, no, I have to write the book. So that's right here. And that's it there, available on Amazon as an ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. It's over 200 pages, and the audiobook is 8 hours long, in case you're thinking it's some sort of flimsy pamphlet. Learning to Win details, well, how I learned to win at slots. It started, what's a hand pay? Hand pay is a W2G jackpot. In the United States, the IRS forces the casino under most circumstances to issue a tax form. It's called a W2G. And there are hand pays which are less than that, but I'm talking about, that's why I distinguish between W2G hand pays. Usually it's $1,200 or more. And so my story in Learning to Win starts in 2004 when I won 13 hand pays, W2G hand pays, in 2004 at Prairie Meadows, Iowa, and ends 10 years later about when I won the car. You can get its PDF for free when you purchase my Fundamental Slots course, 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win, which I should share with you now. If you go to professorslots.com, can you see my mouse? There's a courses sign in there, and you can see my courses here, and that's it there. See my mouse. Yes. So 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win is there. That course you could get for free with your purchase of my advanced 6-week group coaching. And let me put that back up, which is over here, the black title thumbnail. And that's my 6-week group coaching course, Slots Labs. And don't worry, everything these courses cover is, put that back. Everything these courses cover is also available in my free content. You can look at my YouTube channel and see everything there. Let me make myself a little bit more smaller. Yeah. And so I guess that sort of works. I can make it bigger for you. People are on phones. Some of you are on phones. So I have, as of today, congratulations me. I have 1,000 videos. Yesterday I had 998. Today I have 1,000. In fact, I've with this video, with this live stream, it's going to be 1,002. And so, congratulations. You can watch my free content. Yes, everything. Everything that's in the courses is covered in my free content. Well, not my working with you, not the assignments, not my working with you during Zoom meetings, figuring out what you need to improve upon, but and answer your questions there, but everywhere, everything else. All 15,000 minutes of live streams. This is my 205th live stream, you know. And this year I started doing casino videos as show and tell demonstrations of my strategies. And yes, strategies. Being new, you might, being so new, there's only 406, doing them only basically since the beginning of this year, there's only 464 minutes of them. And I also have like, what is it, 359 different Q&A videos, around a minute, minute and a half. Well, 362, but the next 3 daily videos have been uploaded, yet not published. All told, that's over 276 hours of video, which is about 11 and a half days, 24-hour days. So I offer my courses for your convenience. With them, I'm selling a step-by-step process to help you win at slots. If you've got the time, but if you got the time and patience, just watch my free content. But my video production has increased to 1 demo video a day, 1 Q&A video a day, 5 podcast episodes a week, and 2 articles a day on my website. Oh, did I mention I have a website? Did I mention I have a podcast? And did I mention I have 3 live streams a week on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, this one, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, and my usual Saturday at noon Eastern. All in all, I'm working my way up to 4 or 5 videos a day, and about 30 videos a week on a good week, 30, 31. I created courses for your convenience. You can visit courses.professorslots.com. I'll put the link in the chat. Thank you, Yvette. I feel like I've accomplished something. You know, you work and you do stuff, and then after a while, you sort of like, hey, I'm getting somewhere. So I knew when I started, this business, that there was so much to tell people, so much that nobody else was talking about. And that, what a shame that nobody else is talking about it. I created courses for your convenience. You can visit courses.professorslots.com. You can go to my YouTube. You can go to professorslots.com, and there's a courses sign in that'll take you to my page. If you've purchased some of my courses, as so many of you have, that's where you can sign in to take your courses, or you can make your purchases there. So there's a description, a bunch of stuff. So you can even look at my free one about keeping track of complimentary gifts. I'll tell you what my audience tells me. My audience tells me there's no one else. Well, there's my student that started his YouTube channel last year, and he's doing quite well building an audience of haters. What else could he do after I turned him down when he asked me to be his co-host, his slots expert, while he worked on other things like table games? I wish him well, but just remember, if you don't keep feeding your audience the red meat they have come to expect, you become the red meat. Good luck. Other than that, apparently there's nobody else who even pretends to be an educational slots channel. Yes, there's blackjack, craps, and even video poker players based on optimal play. But even the VP guys haven't noticed that video poker machines are also slot machines everywhere except in Nevada, with its Nevada revised code 15.040. Paragraph 5 saying that video versions of table games have the exact same probabilities of winning as its table game variant. I'm paraphrasing. It's actually a very clear statement. And no other state gaming regulations have this very simple and clear statement. And how do I know that? Because I created 56 slots articles on every U.S. state, territory, and federal district. I did one per week for 13 months, and then once I got through all of them, I started them over again because I'd learned so much going through them the first time. That took another 13 months, and then again because those 56 articles needed to be even better, a fourth time through. I worked on that free online resource weekly for over 4 years. To see what I learned about your state, visit professorslots.com, followed by a slash in your state's 2-letter postal designation. Feel free to say now what you you know, in the live chat, name a state. And let's see here. Yep. Heck, if you want to chat, you can even go see if I'm real. You can sign up for a free chat. There's if you go to my page, this is my latest. If you go to my latest article, which came out a few hours ago, over here on the side, you'll see how to sign up for a free chat, just to make sure I'm not a robot or something. And we can chat for a few minutes. And those are the links to the courses as well. Right. So, that's me helping you. Everyone was self-taught at learning slots before I started my Professor Slots business, but now you have me. You're welcome. And be sure to like this video so that we can influence the central server at YouTube. Actually, there's several algorithms in place, and bring more people to ask their questions. So if you have questions, looks like we have some questions, and I wanted to make sure to say good morning, Mary Ellen, Frenzy, Steve, Denise is here. Doug, hi Doug. Keith is here, excellent. Yvette, wonderful. Yvette, what's a handpay? Handpay is $1,200 or more. Handpay is usually $1,200 or more because that's when the casino needs to fill out a W-2G IRS tax form for them to keep and send a copy to the IRS and then give you a copy either right there or send it to you in the mail. You can get a handpay in some states because they're worried about people getting a voucher for $1,199.99 or less, and they're worried about them committing fraud, maybe taking it over to a copier and printing it. So they don't like to have large. They don't like to have. Let's see here. Right. So, yep. And those are the links too. So we're in the question section now. Casinos don't like to have like maybe anything over $800, and so that can generate a hand pay, but it isn't the same thing as a W-2G jackpot until it goes $1,200 or more. Yeah. The machine locks up. That's the first thing you know. I've sat next to people 2 machines over, and they won something big, $1,400. No, it was $4,500, and they were like hitting the cash out, and they're got up from their chair, and they're like trying to step away, and they're like, "Why is the cash out button not working?" And I'm right there, and I've always been trying to be helpful, and they look at me, and I'm like, "Hey, it's locked up. The slot attendant is going to, has been called automatically. They're going to be here in a moment, and they were just here a minute ago for me, and they'll talk to you about taxes." And that person said, "Taxes." At which point I got out of that conversation so fast, I didn't realize how much stuff slot attendants have to deal with, all these crazy questions. So Keith says, question, when playing slots, if you change the denomination, does the random number maybe, I'm not sure. Ah, yes, you have the second question later, which is the rest of it. Is the random number different for each denomination? Yes, we can see that in the return statistics for the 7 US states. 20 US states offer monthly return statistics for their state region, for the casino, however that state is set up. Of those 20, seven of them offer return statistics by slot machine denomination. And maybe your state's one of those 20 or one of those 7. But when they're broken down by slot machine denomination, we can clearly see that they're usually see, it's not random. They're all over the place, but penny slots are just like high, 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 high for 20 years, monthly, everywhere. Well, except one time, 2021 in February in Colorado, which is one of the states that does breaks their return statistics down by slot machine denomination. Central City, one of the frontier towns, they have two tribal casinos, but 3 frontier towns where gambling is legal, commercial gambling. And one of those months, I was shocked. Penny slots were not the worst. Finally, I guess there's an exception to every rule. So yes, that's all I can say nationwide. Penny slots have the worst denomination, like by a lot. Sometimes twice as bad as the better denomination. And there's also this whole perpetual myth that if you higher denominations have better odds. Now, just listen to me say that higher denominations. People say higher denominations have better odds. But actually, I say that. They don't say that. They say bet more, win more. And I'm like, that's not the same thing as higher denominations have better odds. Yes, you don't get an opportunity to win $250,000 or 10 million on a megabucks machine, minimum progressive jackpot, unless you actually bet $10, unless you actually bet more. Now the odds on that, when they stopped posting it in Nevada for the 312 machines like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it was like it was worse than penny slots, which is saying something. So yeah, the different denominations have different odds. And I don't know what state you're in, but I can say in general, and there's few things you can say in general because all the state regulations are very, your state is special just like every other state and very, very different from everything else. And so I don't know what state you're in, but penny slots is the worst. So if you make, $2 bets on a penny machine, 200 credits, make 100 credits bets at the 2-cent denomination, still a $2 bet. And you'll just have better results. You've raised your baseline. Yeah. Yvette says, congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, 1,000 videos. What is that? And Dilrod, who I think, so you use true and lie in the same comment. Is it true central servers are a lie? Did you stop beating your wife lately? So who are you? I expect to get a few people here. Yeah. Central servers exist. If you put your rewards card in and check your balance at a slot machine, it's a central server. So there's this perpetual myth out there by people who will block you from their group and block you from their Facebook page, and for God's sakes, don't mention my name, otherwise they'll block you. And we're like, no. And the reason they say that the central servers don't exist is now they don't have to explain them. Yeah. To be a slot tech, you need to have a high school diploma. Well, GED. And you don't need 8 college degrees, including 3 ma and 3 2 master's degree and a PhD in aerospace engineering. Yep. So, Dill Rod, no. Answer to your question is no. Question, do fast spins help change, the random number generator? No. It's on a schedule from the central server. Now, if you're in the state of Washington, like I said, every state is different. If you're in the state of Washington, they don't, their class 3 machines, not their bingo machines at the tribal casinos, but their class 3 machines are actually um, uh, at the tribal lottery system. Again, central server. Uh, if you don't want to believe, I'm not trying to mock you, but um, you know, haters hate, and that's the whole point. Not getting information, not giving out information, not being factual. So, in the state of Washington, the tribal lottery system offers virtual scratch tickets to the machines, spools of them, spools and subspools. So if you and scratch tickets don't use a random number generator. It's all very technical. Not very technical. It's easy enough to understand. If you're in the state of Washington, you would want to know these things. But just look up Appendix X2 in the tribal compacts for all this tribal all the tribal casinos in the state of Washington. That's all the casinos in the state of Washington. So you can go through a subspool. This is very detailed. I have an article on it. Go through a subspool, and you can have good odds on that subspool. But if you burn through all those tickets on the group of machines that you're at, yeah, ask your states, and I'll point these things out. You mention your states, and we'll look them up. But if you're in the state of Washington, you know, you have something special going on, and I call that unique. I think that is called unique. So Yvette says, appreciate you. Yeah, I used to be more concerned about taking things personally. Yeah, Denise says you always get haters in life. Yeah. I had, you know, I have fans. I never thought I'd have fans. I have fans. Never thought I would. And it's kind of an interesting way of life. Most people are really, really nice, but then there's people who are just like screaming at you. I'm doing much better now that I understand there's like 5 different trolls. Ones are, you know, bots, not even artificial intelligence. That's just, you do this, they do that. And then there's, you know, XXX, which is again, you do you know, like this and that. And then there's, what else? There's haters, but you know, just in general. Then there's haters that, you know, they hate me. They don't know me, but they hate me. They say things like, yeah, I can't even say it. It's just so funny. I'm like, really? Really? It's just accusations. It's just amazing what some of the stuff that's just imagined. And the whole point there is to help their friends on their other channels. Not that you can really help your friends on other channels, but if you can knock somebody down and try to like dent. I mean, there's whole artificial intelligence. I don't mean to go on about this. There's whole artificial intelligent responses. We're very hurtful comments that only come out when you have a few thousand subscribers on your YouTube channel, because they know that if you're new, then maybe you're not self-confident. Yeah, and it's designed to hurt them. Yeah, I remember getting one of those comments, and I was like, "Oh, maybe maybe sound like they know what they're talking about." Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this. And then 6 months later, I got the same comment again on a different video with the same misspellings and grammar mistakes, and I was like, "Oh, it's a thing. Oh, it's a polished statement. Oh, Don gets a clue." Hey, Richard. Have you seen a machine lock up when the grand maxed out? our whole bank unexpected level up error. They reset the machines and displayed 0 grand and shut down until Vegas tech arrives. Okay, so I have not. That's interesting. Um, was it a wide area progressive? Was it like $1 million grand? Because then it might be outside of the casino and somebody might have won it at another casino. And then they can't give it out, but it also can take like 8 hours to process. And so it kind of gets weird for the other casinos that have the same networked grand. Weird things can happen. Yeah, these machines, they get beat on, there's regular maintenance. There's just a lot that can happen. So let me go back to this. And can you discuss the state of Maryland? Yeah, let's do that. So let me bring up that and the stream, and I'll make myself over here, and we'll go to professorslots.com/MD. Okay, so this is, can you see that? Yeah, I'll put your question away so I have a bigger screen. All right, so consists of 6 casinos with video lottery, VLT, slot machines. There's also cruise ships offering onboard gaming. There's a video for you there. Also, podcast episode 192. I think this is like 2 podcast episodes ago. I released 194 about 4.5 hours ago. Legal gambling age. These sections are the same sections in all of the articles, but sometimes it's just a few words and more, and sometimes it's quite a bit. Like, for instance, here's a mention of it's 18 minimum gambling age for international cruises out of the Port of Baltimore in 2008. A little bit of history. 2008, voters approved slot machines at 5 locations. 2012, they approved table games as well as a 6th casino. The last one license awarded was MGM National Harbors. It was awarded in 2012 and 2013 and opened in 2016. You can own a slot machine privately in the state of Maryland if it is at least 25 years old or older. Gaming Commission here, we could go take a look at that. It gets a little into the weeds. They oversee gaming regulations compliance. They do background checks on employees, and they watch the day-to-day operation of machines at each casino, and they offer casino revenue reports to the public. But the casino revenue reports don't include everything you need to calculate player return percent. I really struggled with this, trying to understand what the statistics were on the reports at the Maryland Lottery and Gaming Control Agency, and there's just not enough information to be able to determine player win percent. So yeah, 6 commercial casinos. Here's a map on those 6 different casinos. Again, the latest is MGM National Harbor here. I also talk about across the borders, which states are across the borders. That's where Maryland is, if you didn't know. There's also a Maryland Slots Facebook group. How many do I have now? 59 Facebook groups. And there's one for each of the 56 U.S. states, territories, and federal district. The territories are crazy. Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, they're just crazy for slots. And a lot going on. Yep. And so I have one for each of those. That's 56. And I have Professor Slots Enthusiast, which is kind of like global. And then people in Canada ask for their own, and people in Australia ask for their own. And I decided not to do all English-speaking countries because there's not really a limit on how many Facebook groups you can have, but there's a limit on how many times you can post. You can post on Facebook 50 times a day. That's a lot of posts. But if you have 58 groups, then you can't do one on each per day. Math. Isn't math great? And then there's theoretical payout returns, gaming regulations, section 9, 1A, 22. A video terminal shall have an average payout percentage of at least 85%. Two exceptions exist. The commission may regulate an average payout percentage of more than 88%, but no more than 95% for video lottery operation licensees. The commission may also approve an average payout return of more than 95% for video lottery terminals at a video lottery facility. So if you don't ask for permission, you're limited from 85% to 88%, which is really low. But then you could get approval and be up to 95. But then there's another approval, which will take you all the way up to, well, whatever, more than 95%. So it is possible to, I do not know how many approvals were made. They don't seem to provide that information. I haven't been able to find anything online about how many approvals have they made. Even just that. Now, of course, we're not going to find out which one was approved to be over 100%. But this is the sort of thing that it's much more typical in other states. You may be able to find a machine that's been set to win, as you can in other states, but not Pennsylvania and Mississippi, because of they have very strict return statistic limitations. Yeah, this is one of those other myths that come out. Yeah. So let's see. We have. I want to thank Lakers for his donations. Greetings from Yucaipa. Thank you for the donation, is very much appreciated. And one of my moderators is here. It's lots of fun. Yay! Claude says that you're very cool and charming. A not wide area. Okay, yeah. When you said $30,000, that's not a wide area. It's not big enough to be a wide area. Air it out. Errors happen. I don't recall which video it was. I was doing a demo and my voucher printed out, only it jammed up, just crinkled right up inside. And so they took it apart, and I kind of filmed it, but I was like, I didn't know what to do if I could. They said, don't do casino employees. I've since realized, hey, I can do it if I blur their faces, but they opened the whole thing up and they spent like 20 minutes like trying to get it out and getting a second slot attendant who was like, well, you have to release this screw in order for the whole thing to sort of slide out. And it was just amazing. And I was talking with them and they were saying this model of slot machine, very modern, big screen, was the type that would jam all the time. They had 4 of them in the casino, and those 4 machines are the ones that jam all the time. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Let's see. And yes, Frenzy, haters are secretly fans. That's right. And so lately I've been, when they get really abusive, I still don't mind if they say something about me. I never really have. But when they say my audience is dumb, I'm like, dude, you don't go there. You don't go after my audience. I protect my audience, and so that'll kick them out. But lately, I'm like, they're probably watching more of my stuff than anybody else. How about I just mute them? Let them learn, but reduce their ability to comment. Yeah. I had one gentleman. We knew who he was. He had a nice female profile, maybe his wife's or something, I don't know. and he was getting all enraged at me over nothing, and stop saying stuff about me. And I was like, we're not talking about you. We're talking about oh, and so yeah, it was yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. They okay. That was weird. I pushed a button I've never pushed before, and I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, so it is 7:40. Let's see here. What can we do? Bring in my slides and go to where I was at. And one question that I have, well, let's see. Jerry says, "Thank you for sharing. Um, I have noticed the payouts have been lower in Maryland the last few years." There's some posts. Um, wow, look at that. There's been some posts. Yep, I'm back. Thank you for letting me know. I pushed a button I should not have. And yes, and in Maryland, they do post quarterly payout returns at the casino. You have to sort of find it over by the cashier's office. It can be a little video screen, something to watch for. Yep, I'm back. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I will not throw the cats under the bus because it wasn't their fault this time. It was operator error. Uh, Question from Slots of Fun. Without telling us what, have you noticed any new methods from your recent casino visits? Yes, no. Um, I've my strategies have gotten deeper. I used to really think about just this approach and just this approach and just this approach. But now I can't do anything other than combine them. Uh, in 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win, my fundamentals course, I only combine slot strategies once because it really is fundamentals, and you need to learn one and need to learn another and you need to learn a third before you can even begin to combine them. And the one that I chose to combine in 30 Days to Play Slots Smarter and Win was my 5 spin method, and going to the high limit room and doing some things there. And that works great. But then I've begun to see just how, I don't know if I could do one to save my life. It's just I do it in my demo videos, and I'm like, well, this and this and this, and I've gotten so good at knowing each that I try to remember what it's like for somebody who just met my content. I mean, today's live stream is about uh, new to slots and searching the internet for answers, and I want to be able to answer questions as though I just for newcomers, and I don't want to jump into the deep end too fast. Yeah, yeah. Um, Quebec, Canada. Nice. There is I just did a podcast today at the very end. It talks about what the return percentage is for casinos in Quebec. I was talking about Michigan slots, and across the Ambassador's Bridge from Detroit to Canada is, and a dog's barking, can you hear it? Is a Caesar's Windsor, and they have some restrictions on their return percentages there. You can find that in Michigan. If I go to, yeah, let's do that. Got to bring this back. Share screen. Entire screen. This one, yes. So we'll go from Maryland to Michigan. I can just type MI, but I'll type the whole thing. And if you read this whole thing, you'll come down to, did I do something? Yes, it's loading. Podcast uploaded today. So if you go to the return statistics section all the way at the bottom, these are the tribal casinos. The only commercial ones are the three in Detroit. But across the river, St. Clair, I grew up in Michigan. I grew up right about there, and my family lives there. But and friends and one of my moderators. But if you go to here, down at the bottom, Canadian casinos in Ontario, for instance, Caesars Windsor, but also in Montreal and Toronto, have a minimum theoretical payout of 85% and a maximum theoretical payout of 99.1% for Class 3 Vegas-style games of chance. But there's also video poker, and its minimum is 88%. Yeah. These are things, that are the legal requirements. It's up to you to know them and learn them about your area. So yeah, hey, Sugar Moon Garden's here. Hi, Sugar Moon Garden. She understands that John Friedel means peace, and so she calls me pro peace, which is fun. So. That is interesting what's going on there. And so let's call it. That's it. And what a great live stream. I'll see you on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, I highly recommend you watch this demonstration video on my 5-spin method and highly visible machine strategies at Legends Bay Casino in Sparks, Nevada. And I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. Yeah, yes, it is, Denise. Yes, it is.